Hey, I'm Pastor Wayne with Our Calling, and today I was asked, is it really harder and are there really less resources for the homeless community? And I want to see if I can clearly explain that to you today. Dallas has normally about 2,300 shelter beds. So Dallas is, I think, the 7th largest city in the country based on population, but we're like 20th in the number of beds that we have for the homeless. And we also have the largest homeless population of any city in the state of Texas, which means we also have the largest homeless population of any city in the southern U.S. Now that's Texas east, to the Atlantic. And that population is really struggling every day to find basic needs. Now, let me highlight a few of those here in our COVID world. Where do you go to the bathroom? So normally restaurants will tell you, hey, if you're not a paying customer, you can't use the bathroom here. They'll put special locks just for customers. Shelters, some of them require you to do an intake process and, have an ID and be a resident there to go in and just use the bathroom. Some restaurants like McDonald's and Starbucks have opened up their bathrooms. Libraries have bathrooms, but there's just not enough toilets. And on days like now, when all the restaurants are closed, the library's closed, and the shelters have pretty much, locked their doors and not allowing new residents to come in, right? And they're not adding to their population. Where do you go to the bathroom? The convention center, the city opened that up for the homeless community, but in the morning they have to leave, and so they have nowhere to go during the day. We have 10 bathrooms here on the first floor of our building, but then we also have 5 shower rooms, and the way we designed it is you have a shower, a toilet, and a sink by yourself, really to provide a higher level of dignity. And because we don't have enough bathrooms for the hundreds of people that are walking over here every day, we've disabled our showers just so we have enough toilets. So we have 15 toilets. We've been trying to get some porta-cans for a while. I think some people call them porta-potties. Somebody laughed at me when I said that before, so I'm not sure what they're really called. We were able to snag some through a connection we have with construction guys. So you can see behind me over there, porta cans. We got 6 of them. Our neighbor across the street let us use that field. So we had it mowed. Care Center Ministries mowed it for us. Those guys are awesome. And then today the city provided this. This is a bathroom trailer. So it's got 10 toilets in it. It's got a men's side and a women's side. You got stairs to get in there. Now we're going to have 16 toilets outside the building, and then we'll add our public bathrooms, 10 more, and we potentially might be able to, no promises, but we potentially might be able to reevaluate our showers now because we have enough toilets for people, and that's really important. And what about food? The shelters serve meals to people that stay in the shelters, and they should. During a normal year, anybody that wants to can go eat at the Bridge. The Bridge is one of our partners. They provide a lot of meal services for the unsheltered as well. And so they sometimes will do 1,200 meals in a day. They split that up, of course, between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We serve the unsheltered homeless community. Cornerstone does. There's a couple of other organizations that do as well. But on days like today, when we're in COVID crisis and the shelters are not allowing people beyond, the people that stayed there last night into their facility, they don't want to bring any other exposure in. There's just nowhere to eat. And so the number of people that come to our meal service is really, really growing every single day. During the normal year, we meet about 7 new people experiencing homelessness every single day, 7 new people that we've never met before. And when you've been doing this as long as we have, and we visit over 1,500 locations a year throughout the city's extensive street outreach, to meet 7 new people is pretty startling. But today, and now that we're in this COVID crisis, more and more people are becoming homeless. We're meeting between 20 and 30 new people a day right now. The unsheltered population is growing. We've synchronized the time that we serve meals with the Stew Pot, who's serving meals out in front of the library right now for people that are staying there, and Cornerstone, who's serving meals as well to the unsheltered community. We've asked them to survey, and as we count the numbers of how many unsheltered individuals that we're all serving together, it's about 350 within 2 miles of our facility. Now that's just in this area, within 2 miles of where we are. Beyond that, throughout the rest of the city, obviously we know there are thousands more, and because of the CDC's requirement or recommendation that we cease all street outreach. We're not able to really go check on those people. But to answer the question, is it harder for homeless individuals to have access to services? Well, if you can't go to the bathroom and you can't eat, life's pretty bad. And you can't get into a shelter, because normally in Dallas, our shelters run at about 97% capacity. Of course, now they're 100% full. In the winter, they're 100% full. And so we don't ever have enough shelter space. I get asked all the time, why don't they go to shelters? Well, mainly because we don't have enough shelters. And, we would have a lot more shelter space if we put a lot more people in housing. But, with 2,300 people in shelters today on a normal basis, the practicality of putting everybody in housing is just impossible at this rate. You can't build 2,300 low-income units in a year, nor can you keep up with the growth of the homeless community. So putting people in housing is a necessity, it is a requirement, but many people still need a temporary solution, and that's why shelters are so important. Here's another service we were able to provide. These are charging stations provided to us by our friends at AT&T. It's kind of cool. It's got a touch screen on it. You put in your phone number and you pick a little secure picture, and it pops open for you, it locks it. It's just a place to come charge your phone. You remember 90% of our homeless friends have cell phones. And so it just provides another opportunity for us to meet their needs in a practical way. We're actually trying to figure out how we can get regular phones here. We have some in the building, but we're talking to our friends at AT&T about providing some phones outside that people can use. They need to talk to their case managers. Even some of them that have phones don't have minutes. And then our Wi-Fi right now doesn't extend much beyond our doors. And so we're talking to our technology guys about how do we extend our Wi-Fi into our parking lot and even a little bit further to provide access for those individuals. Here's some of the new kitchen equipment we bought right there. These hot boxes and warmers, and this is an old refrigerator that we had in storage from the old place. We've had to add bathrooms, we've had to add picnic tables, we've had to add tents, we've had phone chargers, and now we're going to try to add some phones outside. But to make all this happen, we've also had to add employees. We have lots of volunteer opportunities. We'd love for you to come and volunteer, but we've lost about 40% of our staff. People that either have to stay home with a family member, or they're a vulnerable population, they're over 60, or they have someone that lives with them that's a vulnerable population. So if you want to volunteer, please come volunteer. But we're also having to hire staff right now, hire temp agencies. We hired some kitchen staff from one of our restaurant partners, Eno's, to work in our kitchen. And I'll just tell you, we also lost our Chef Nate. You guys know him. Nate is, has legally blind in one eye, and now he's just had some problem with his other eye, and so he's really struggling right now to see. And so pray for Nate. It's not COVID related, but he's struggling right now, and he's home with his wife and his daughter. So pray for Nate, pray for our brother, and pray for the rest of our staff, those that want to be here but can't. They're of a vulnerable age, or they've got vulnerable people that live with them, and they're frustrated. They're helping answer the phones. We get tons and tons of phone calls, probably a couple hundred a day. And so they're helping answer those hotline calls so we can direct people to the places that they need to go and answer the questions, those crisis questions. And then they're also answering the requests that come in through our app, because we get requests every day from all over the country. But none of this would be possible. Like, we would not have a building that's built to help the homeless community, that's not specifically designed, strategically designed to meet their needs, if it weren't for you. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have a phone, and we wouldn't have chargers, and we wouldn't have seats in here. We wouldn't be able to serve meals. We wouldn't have volunteers. You make this possible. You are providing here every day. Even for those of you that are praying diligently for the homeless community, you're praying for our staff, you're praying for God to protect people. You are providing a great opportunity as an ambassador before the Lord on their behalf. It's not just those that can give money. It's not just those that can give time, but those that can give a moment on their knees before our Maker and say, Lord, these people need some help, and pray that God would provide for their needs. I believe that the Lord owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and if he wants us to do something or move forward, he's going to sell some cows. And right now he's been doing that. And we want to thank you, those of you that have given to us. We've had many extra needs, financial needs during this time. And we want to thank you for those that have given special gifts to help during this COVID crisis. We want to encourage you, those that always ask us, what do you need? How can I help? We do need men's clothes, especially men's pants and men's shoes. We run out all the time. 70% of our population are male. And so, they always need pants, they always need shoes. And we're going to responsibly hand those out in a way that, promotes accountability. So please bring men's pants and men's shoes. We also need food, and we know that food is hard to come by at the grocery stores and Sam's and Costco. So if you could give, we can order through our vendors. We can order through some of the big distributors in town. We also need labor. And so we're having to recruit a lot more volunteers. You can come and you can serve, or you can give so that we can continue to hire some temp employees to fill in some of the voids around here. But we also ask you every day, and I said this before, I'll say it again, please pray. Pray for us, pray for our friends, and pray for the Lord just to do a miracle here. The COVID is going to be really devastating as it continues to go through Dallas and as it continues to move. And when it finally starts hitting a large part of the homeless community, it's going to be pretty devastating. Many of them are super vulnerable. And so not only are we trying to protect ourselves and provide for the community now, we're trying to prepare ourselves for what is to come. We're trying to prepare ourselves for the trauma and the tragedy of having friends sick and possibly having friends die. And so please pray for us as we continue to plan for this traumatic event, as we meet the daily needs here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Just send me a text or email, or you can put a comment on this video. I provide these for you just so you can keep an update on what's going on and you can pray here. So if you would, please subscribe. Subscribe to the videos here and share it with your friends, your family, with your church members, so they can keep up with what we're doing here at Our Calling every day. It's just another day in loving the Lord and trying to love our neighbors well.